And this one is a competitive civilization game where you're going to be building up an engine. But what makes this one really unique and interesting is that the cards that you're going to be gaining that you'll be using to build up your engine will each have icons that improve different aspects of your civilization, but they are only good for a certain number of ages because, like a lot of things in the past, they do go obsolete and you'll be losing the benefits of that card once a certain age is reached. I really like this idea both thematically but then also from a design perspective because this is going to make this engine builder a lot different from many other engine builders out there, because rather than building that engine linearly, this is going to create more of a bumpy engine builder where you're going to be losing parts of your engine periodically throughout the game, but hopefully you're adding more on than you're losing so that you're always moving forward in your progression. But this is a game that plays over a series of rounds, and at the start of each round, players are going to be drafting the technology cards located on the left-hand side of the board. Each of these rows is going to be associated with a certain amount of coins that you're going to gain for drafting a card in that row, but then each of the cards are going to have their own abilities as well as icons that you'll be able to spend to move up these various tracks. But after players have completed the drafting of those various cards, you don't spend those icons just yet because you'll be able to spend any of the gold you earned in order to buy some of these buildings and wonders that are located on the right hand side of the board. And these cards work very similar to the tech cards, except they're going to be offering you more unique abilities that can even chain off other cards, and they do tend to be more powerful. After players have drafted those tech cards and bought any building cards that they want to purchase, players will then take turns exhausting any of their cards in order to gain the associated benefits. This can do things like gain you victory points, gain you even more cards, or even permanent bonuses. But like I said, you will also be spending those sets of icons on the different tech cards in order to match them to the various tracks in order to move yourself up those tracks. And each of these tracks do have a set number of icons that you're trying to match up in order to move up that track, except for the top one, which is going to be dictated by the cards located at the top of the board. This just means that the requirements to move up that track are going to be changing every single round, and you can only move up that specific track once per round. Players can also spend their icons to gain different resources and benefits located at the bottom of the board, so players will also want to consider this as well. But like I said, you can gain all sorts of different bonuses by moving up these tracks. The top one's going to be earning you more victory points at the end of the game. Some of these tracks even offer multiple paths where you'll be able to choose the direction you want to go, with each of them having their own pros and cons, while other ones might deviate but will have a certain requirement in order for you to go down the other more beneficial path. Some actions may also have you comparing your military strength with the other players, so of course there is the military track to resolve those different scenarios, and players can find themselves moving down a track as well, whether it's a consequence of a decision that they made or by engaging in combat with the other player. The game continues like this, with players drafting those technology cards, gaining money, and then purchasing those buildings, and then exhausting all those different cards to perform the various actions and move up those various tracks. And the player with the most victory points at the end of the 8th era wins the game. And if this one sounds interesting to you, you can check it out. I got it linked in the description below.